Hey Girl Scouts, it's Hillary here with another service special. This month we're celebrating volunteer appreciation by making origami crafts to say thank you to a special volunteer in our lives. Keara is going to walk you through how to make an origami gift box and an origami bookmark. These are very simple crafts that you can do at home with materials that you already have. So in order to follow along, all you're going to need are scissors, you're going to need paper, a ruler, and decorating supplies. You can use markers or stickers or anything to add your personal touch to these thank you gifts for the volunteers in our lives.
Hey Girl Scouts! Now that you've gathered your materials, we're going to start crafting. And first up is going to be our recycled gift box. So I'm going to show you how to make one of these using construction paper, but I really recommend using any sort of paper from magazines or newspapers, maybe even old wrapping paper, stuff that you wouldn't be using otherwise right now, so that you can reuse some of those materials. And then once you're done, you can put a little gift inside and mail it to one of your favorite volunteers. So let's get started. I'm going to start with this paper. And we need to make it into a square. So I'm going to make this into a square by taking this top corner and folding it to meet the long side of the paper, making sure it's perfectly at the diagonal up here, and then folding across. And then I'm going to cut off this excess and I'll be left with a perfect square. So let's cut this part off. And you don't have to start with a rectangular piece of paper. You could also just measure a perfect square out of a paper and start like that. But I don't have any perfect squares or old wrapping paper, so I'm going to do this. So now I've got a perfect square, and I'm going to start by folding the paper in half on the long side, like this, and then folding it in half again the other way. So I should end up with a square split into 4 smaller squares. So I folded it in half both ways. And now I'm going to take each corner of my square and fold it to meet in the middle. So I'm going to fold one and then I'll show you what it looks like. So I've taken that top corner and folded it in to meet in the middle. And now I'm going to do that with the rest of them. So I'll show you. And you should end up with like a smaller square that's been all folded in once you're done. So like so. So all of these corners are now folded in. Then I'm going to take this top edge and fold it to meet where the 4 corners are in the middle. So I'm not going to fold it all the way in half, I'm just going to fold it to meet them in the middle. So if you see, I folded that top, and I folded it to meet in the middle, and I'm going to do it again with the bottom corner so that they meet. And I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees, and I'm going to open the right and left sides. Then I'm going to repeat that folding of the top edge into the middle and the bottom edge into the middle. So again, not folding it all the way in half, but meeting them in the middle. This next step is tricky, so as you can see, I drew some black dots to help you follow where we're going to go. So first, you're going to unfold just that long edge on the top and bottom so that you sort of have like 2 walls. These are going to become the 2 side walls for your box. And then you can see these 2 black dots are going to meet. So using the folds that you've already made, you're going to fold in to bring this dot up to meet over here. And then you're going to have to go on the other side and kind of guide them to do the same. And then you're going to fold this top flap over into the inside of the box. And you'll have to crease it and make it look a little nice. So I'll repeat that. On the other side, you're going to fold these in and do it on the other side as well. And then fold that top flap over to meet in the middle. And then you have a perfect little box. So once you have your box made, you can decorate it or write little notes like I did on this one that I made earlier. And if you want to make another box to fit inside, what I would do is take either another square sheet of paper that's just a 1/2 inch shorter than the one you made, or on another rectangular sheet of paper, you would just measure about 1/2 inch inward, draw a line all the way down the long edge, and then cut that off. That way, when you follow the instructions and make your square, it'll be a little bit shorter and it'll fit just inside your box. And then you can put something inside it and mail it to one of your favorite volunteers. All right, if you're gonna rewind, go ahead and rewind. Try the boxes as many times as you want. Otherwise, we'll move on to craft number 2. Craft number 2 is gonna be a little bit more challenging, but I totally believe in our ability to rise up to meet this challenge. It's going to be a corner bookmark in the shape of a heart. So you'll need a square piece of paper again, but this one is going to be a lot smaller than the one we just used. So I'm taking a rectangular sheet of paper that, again, I'm going to fold this top crease over to meet the long edge and give it a good little fold. So let's line this up, and then I'm going to cut off the excess. And that will give me a smaller square. We want it to be about 4 to 7 inches wide. So now I've already made one diagonal crease. If you haven't, go ahead and fold one way diagonally. And then I'm going to do it the other way diagonally. So I have 2 creases going through the middle of my square. So like so. So it's broken up into 4 small triangles. And then I'm going to flip my paper over and I'm going to fold it in half. So the direction of the creases will just help guide some of our later folds. It's not a huge deal, but it makes some of the later folds a little bit easier. So now that I've folded it in half, I've got another line down the middle. And then we're going to make a tent. So I'm going to take these 2 creases and I'm going to fold the paper in towards me on those creases. So it has a little triangle, and you'll see that made the other side of the paper already start to fold in. So I'm just going to compress it down and it becomes a little triangle. I call it a tent. It is just a little kind of triangle that stands on its own, but we're going to crease it in to make these creases really strong. And then we're going to just make some more folds. So I'm going to start by taking these corners in to meet the top. So taking the whole paper up there. And you don't want to leave these pieces folded. We're just making creases. Again, this will help us later with some of the other folds. So I'm going to do that on the other side. Unfold it, and I'm going to fold the top down to meet the bottom. So, and you can set your triangle down on the table to do this. It might make it a little easier, but here we go. And then I'm going to unfold it. So now that we've got our triangle, we are going to take just this top layer, starting at the bottom, and bring it up. And you'll see it starts to fold the sides in already. So you're going to take these corners and meet them at the top in the middle. So you kind of create this weird flat top. And then you're going to take that weird flat top and you're going to fold it down. So you end up overall with a triangle, but you've got this new shape right in the middle. So now we're going to take this whole weird new shape and fold it to meet in the middle. So just fold it about halfway up. And again, so you can see I just folded it about halfway up. And again, I've drawn some black dots because this part's going to be a little bit trickier to follow. So we'll start by taking these inner corners with the black dots straight down, which drags this outer corner in, and we're just going to compress it. So it's got this little triangle. So drag them down, compress it in, and then take this bottom same peak, and we're going to take it diagonally in to meet the other dot. So take it diagonally in. And then finally take the 2 bottom corners right here and fold them halfway up to meet where the other black dots are. And then we'll flip it all up and you've got your heart. So now that you've got your heart-shaped little bookmarker, what I did with one that I made the other day is I kind of glued parts of it down so that it stayed together a little bit more, and then you just lift this flap to put it on the corner of a book to mark your page. And so this can go maybe in the box that you've made earlier, if you want to fold it in and send it to your favorite volunteer, or you can send them in an envelope with a nice little note. Happy Volunteer Appreciation Month. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you so much, Keara. That was awesome. So now at home, you have a chance to say thank you to the volunteers in your life. Girl Scouts is a proud volunteer-led organization, and none of Girl Scouting would be possible if it weren't for all of the amazing volunteers that work so hard to bring you different activities and life lessons. So remember, April is Volunteer Appreciation Month, and don't forget to say thank you to a special adult in your life.